Namaste, everyone. Welcome to Aurora Yoga. My name is Christina, and this is my dog, Pearl, hugging her purple unicorn. Welcome to this month's full moon intuitive guidance chat and yoga practice. This month, we have a full moon and partial lunar eclipse in the water sign of Pisces. This will be at peak illumination, super early if you're on the East Coast, on Friday, August 28th at 12:18 a.m. It will obviously be occurring on the 27th for those of you who live on the West Coast and other parts of the world. This is the final eclipse in the sign of Pisces on the Pisces Virgo axis. So we started this season back in September, early September of 2024. So almost 2 years ago, like very close to 2 years ago. We will be completing this cycle, this axis fully in February of 2027 when we have an eclipse in Virgo. But this is a very powerful eclipse because we are going to be completing some major chapters. So thinking back to September 2024, where you were, what you were doing, who you were with, maybe things you were starting, maybe things were ending, maybe you planted some seeds. You will have plenty of time in our full moon practice, which is going to be mainly about tapping into your intuition. So this is going to be a very slow restorative practice today. Not a lot of fast movements or anything like that. Enough so that you can connect and really get clear on what it is you want to call in, what it is you want to see. You know, seeing is a big part of this completion process. So with this alignment, you're going to have a heightening of your intuition regardless. It's also about emotional healing and reflection. You know, we talk a lot about letting go and release and all these cycles. Some of them have similar themes, but they all kind of work with each other. It's like if you're not learning a lesson from one, that's going to come into the next and so on. And then once you start doing it, that's when things in your life start to evolve. So Pisces is giving us this giant nudge, this giant push to make improvements in our life. Improvements. You know what they are. We all do. But we're always reluctant to make them because we always think we have more time. It's really not that big of a deal. This could simply be how you speak to other people. Thoughts that you're telling yourself, you know, even coming down to your hygiene. How are you brushing your teeth? Other things in your life that you should be caring for, like say you have a vehicle or a bike, you know, are you taking care of these things that where you live? Is it clean? You know, where can you make improvements? I know this sounds subtle and small, but it's not. All of these things together really make up our energy, how organized we are, how intuitive we are, you know, and how productive we are as well. This alignment is going to be very close to this superior conjunction of the Sun and Mercury, which is all about a giant epiphany could be coming your way. Full moons are always, you know, lighting up what's hiding in the dark or behind the shadows. But we're talking about an illumination so obvious and so bright that you are not going to be able to, you know, dispute it on any level at all. It's all about also, you know, your intuition and how you use that to make the changes. In other words, if something isn't feeling right, or let's say someone is smiling at you and telling you, I'm here for you, I support you, but you're just getting this nudge, like, where is this coming from? Or or people, there's the worrying about you thing too. It's, this goes back to a couple of videos ago when I say, when you find that people are more interested in your life than you are theirs, there's an imbalance there. And yes, sometimes there is genuine concern, but a lot of the time people are really looking for information, or to throw you off your game, or it's a distraction, or you're doing really well and people are really curious and they may not be doing as well in their life. Taking note of these things, sometimes it's common sense, but sometimes it takes that inner knowing to make these decisions. This is also about possible change on a profound level. And the other super important thing about this full moon, about the energy of this lunar eclipse, is how you talk to yourself. Whether you're writing it down, speaking it out loud, thinking it, careful. The good or the bad can come from that. And just like I said, I think in the last video, you don't have to be all Pollyanna. I mean, being honest, but certainly don't call in things that you're afraid of. Don't commit to things that you don't want to do. And don't just do something because you think it's what you have to do or say. I do say this a lot. There's so much going on in our world and around us. And then you've got all these different opinions. There's so much misinformation out there. And as someone who is able to see through all bullshit, and I say that with absolutely no bragging rights. If I could be someone who wasn't so tapped in, I'd have a much more normal and easy life. It can be so difficult, but you have to learn to discern. It's not even right from wrong. It's like, who's making this stuff up? And then you've got people, piling on. I'm talking about like news, media. TikTok is the worst, in my opinion. I think this app was just created so that people could spread misinformation and just basically blow their lives up. There's nothing great happening over there. And I'm not saying like social media sucks, but it's you're doing genuine, authentic things in your life. Tread lightly. Trust me, you don't need it. My intuitive business, I don't advertise it. You don't see me all over Instagram or TikTok. And I have a full client list, and it comes from referrals and the fact that I do accurate work. I want you to have the opportunity to clear your own slate so that you can tap into what's important to you, so that you can make decisions that are really based on your highest good. So let's get comfy. We're going to have a beautiful, like I said, intuitive practice, reflections, affirmations, obviously all levels, no props required, but if you want to have some bolsters, pillows, anything handy that you think might help you with your practice, make you more comfortable, please get those things now before we start. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy full moon. I hope things come to fruition for you all in the ways that you want them to. Namaste. Begin in a comfortable kneeling position toward the back of your mat. Rest your palms gently on your knees. Allow your shoulders to soften away from your ears. And when you're ready, let your eyes close. Take a moment to simply arrive here. This full moon in Pisces and partial lunar eclipse brings us to an interesting point and a much larger story. This is the sixth eclipse along the Virgo and Pisces axis since this cycle began nearly 2 years ago. And sometimes when we reach a point like this, it can be helpful to pause and look back. Not dwell on the past, but to notice what has changed, what you have learned, what's become clearer, and what you might understand now differently than you did 2 years ago. Take a slow, deep breath in, exhale through the mouth. Gently twist to the right, relaxing the right shoulder. Release, other side. Just letting yourself become aware of the space around you. Bringing your awareness inward. Back to center, spread the fingers wide. Inhale the arms up over to the sky. Palms touch, hands to heart. Again, deep breath in, lengthen. Exhale, heart center. Last one. Let it go. Release the arms down by your side, palms facing up, and gently fold yourself forward to a really soft, sleepy child's pose. Allow the forehead to rest, and just allow the body to become heavy. And while you're here, consider the larger picture. If you could look at the last 2 years of your life from a little further away, what would you notice? Where have you grown? Where have you surprised yourself? What has quietly come to an end? And what is still unfolding? You may not have all the answers yet, but you may know more than you think. Slowly begin to unwind. Lift your head last. And bring yourself forward into Malasana, planting the fingertips, taking the feet to the outer edges of the mat, knees and feet point in the same direction. Hands to heart center. Elbows gently pressing the inside of the knees open. You can remain here still or gently sway from side to side. Feel the ground beneath you. Pisces brings us into the world of feeling, imagination, and intuition. And with the Sun in Virgo, there is an invitation to become more grounded in what is real, to take notice, to pay attention, to take what you intuitively understand, and eventually find a way to bring it into your life. Release. Make your way into a tabletop. Spread the fingers wide, toes tucked or untucked. You can close the eyes if you like. 3 slow rounds of cat and cow. Hollow out the back on the exhale. Moving slow enough to actually feel each transition. And just notice where your body naturally wants to move. There's no perfect shape, just movement, breath, awareness. Come back to neutral spine. Gently sway a little bit, left and right, left and right. As you come back to stillness, tuck the toes, press into the palms, down dog. Just take a moment here. Maybe come up onto the tippy toes, maybe just walk the dog out a little bit. Moving into pigeon on the right. Untuck the left toes. When you're ready, melt yourself forward. Take your time settling in. Find the version of this pose that works for your body today. So if this is not an option, you can lie on your back and just simply cross the right ankle over the left knee. There is something about a full moon that can illuminate where we are within a larger process, not necessarily giving us a finished answer, but allowing us to see the progress we might have missed while we were busy living through it. Think back to where you were when this eclipse cycle began. What were you hoping for? What were you questioning? What has changed since then? And perhaps most importantly, where are you now? Gently press yourself up. Take your time transitioning to the left side. There's absolutely no rush here. No perfect way to get there either. And as you settle in, remember that completion does not always mean everything is finished. Sometimes completion is an understanding, a realization, a recognition that you cannot return to seeing something in quite the same way. And from that point forward, something begins to shift. You may be receiving one of those giant nudges right now, a reminder to make an improvement, to take an idea more seriously, to communicate more honestly, or simply to stop ignoring something that you already know matters. Slowly press yourself up, making your way onto your back, perhaps resting the back of the head on a little blanket or pillow. Feet about hip width distance, ground down to all four corners, arms down by your side. Close the eyes and gently sway the legs side to side, just bringing in a little fluidity. And just let the movement become easy. Back to stillness. Ground down to all four corners of the feet. Arms down by your side. Press into the palms. Lift the pelvis up. Interlace the hands behind the back. Chin to chest. Bridge. Take a full breath in here. Exhale it out gently. You have the ability to build something meaningful, one decision at a time, one conversation, one idea, one small change. We often think transformation has to arrive all at once, but sometimes we look back and realize that it was happening quietly, little by little, along the way. Release the bind, slowly lower the pelvis down. Hug the knees into the chest, grab the outside edges of the feet. Happy baby. Allow yourself to move naturally here. And let yourself remember that not everything meaningful has to be serious. There can still be curiosity. There can still be creativity. There can still be room to surprise yourself, especially under the energy of Pisces. Don't dismiss an idea simply because it arrived through imagination. Release the feet up to the sky and circle out the ankles a few times. Legs extended for waterfall, maybe a soft bend in the knees. Placing the right hand over the belly, left hand over the heart. Feel your own breath beneath your hands and ask yourself quietly, what do I know when I stop listening to everyone else? What feels true to me? What am I ready to trust more deeply? Stay with whatever arises. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to defend it. Just listen. Slowly lower your legs down. Release the arms. Bend the right leg and press the sole of the foot to the inside of the thigh or the calf. For supine tree on the back. Really relax the shoulders into the mat. Soften from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. Allow yourself to soften into the support beneath you. There is strength in being rooted in who you actually are, not who you think you are supposed to be, not who you were years ago, but who you are becoming now. Release the right leg long. Slowly change sides. Again, inside of the thigh or the calf. Just allow gravity to do the work, gently opening up the left side. And as you settle in, remember that growth doesn't always look dramatic while it's happening. Sometimes it looks like changing your mind, setting a new standard, becoming more discerning, trusting yourself a little sooner, or finally recognizing an opportunity that you weren't ready to see before. Slowly release the left leg. Hug the right knee into the chest and send it across the left side. Right arm out. You can take a supine twist here or grab the top of the right foot and guide your heel towards the glute for pulling cat's tail. If you're here, both shoulder blades are resting on the mat. Close the eyes and allow yourself to settle into whatever version feels right in your body. This full moon and eclipse may illuminate something important. An illumination doesn't always arrive with certainty. Slowly switch sides, hugging the left knee in, taking it across, gazing to the left for supine, grabbing the top of the right foot and guiding that heel in towards the glute. Sometimes it simply brings a little more understanding than you had before, a little more perspective, a little more honesty, and sometimes that is enough to change what happens next. Release and slowly make your way to Shavasana, taking the legs nice and long, allowing the feet to naturally splay out to the side. Eyes are closed, face is soft. And just take a few moments to simply notice how you feel. You don't need to label it. You don't need to change it. Just notice. As this full moon reaches its peak, allow yourself to reflect on how far you have come. There is still more ahead. There are still questions waiting to be answered. But there is always wisdom that you have already earned along the way. Trust that what is meant to become clearer can find its way into your awareness. Trust that the right conversation, idea, or realization can arrive when you are ready to receive it. And for now, simply rest here. Stay as long as you need. Let the music carry you for a little while longer. Namaste, yogis. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next practice.